As is my, I feel like something went wrong on my end there.
I don't know, but we're live.
we are indeed live. I don't know what the hell happened there.
We are live and in charge.
You know what's happened? I've got YouTube open on another link.
Oh, right. So it's a delay, ain't it? It's a delay.
Yeah. I was thinking something's going wrong with my laptop.
I made the intro.
Yeah, you did indeed. It's only right, bro. It's only right. I thought, I've got to get Jay in there, man. I've got to. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, lovely people, whether you're watching this live or on replay. Big up to Jamie, big up to Luke Tanner, who is actually in the comment section as well. Luke couldn't be with us on the screen, but he's definitely with us in the comments. Shout out to AJ, shout out to Ryan from Elite Sports TV as well. Hope everyone is all good. Jay, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I've just got over my video I did over an hour or so ago where I just got criticised for having facts. But yeah, it's
as it happens. As it happens. Like I got we did one on Kopish last night, and I literally just asked a trivial question because we've been loosely linked with Victor Osherman, and I'm like, that's never gonna happen. But I was like, as a joke, I'll be like, who would you guys? And I said, would you guys sell Nunes if you ain't getting Osherman? In the comment section, someone was just like, I can't believe Cal would sell Nunes for Osherman. I was like, I never once said that. Like, I asked the question for a start, and like, I never said that. Yeah, we're here now. In it is what it is. Shout out to Sahil as well. Jamie, let's get into it. UFC 294, probably the shortest pay-per-view I can remember off the top of my head.
At 7 p.m.
4 first round fights and one that went 3 rounds. We have to start with the main event, and so much has come from it since it's happened. Obviously, Islam Makhachev with a stunning head kick TKO victory against Alexander Volkanovski, and now has become pound for pound number 1 or number 2, depending on whether they move John Jones or not.
He's still 2.
Is he still 2?
Yeah, but I think someone spoke about yourself. Who was it today? I can't remember.
I know why. You know why UFC have done that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they need to keep John Jones there, don't they?
Because if Ngannou wins, they have to keep him John Jones.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah,
they have to. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But this is what the UFC do, in my opinion. Even though Volk came up a weight, the way in which Islam dispatched of him, and yes, we can speak about the short-term notice, etc., but the way Islam dispatched of him, I think you can credibly say that Islam right now is pound for pound number 1.
Oh yeah.
Pound for pound number 1. And I want to ask you one thing though, Jay, because one thing that I think has kind of been overlooked since the fights happened is Volk had a little moment of weakness in the press conference where he broke down and started crying. But for me, the strength came when he started speaking about the fact that he was dealing with some mental health issues. And he even spoke about saying how he's not himself when he doesn't have a fight, and he may have rushed into this one, but he needed to take this fight. Is that a dangerous mindset to have, though, especially when you're someone like Volk, considering all the success he's had and the fact that he's striving for legacy now as opposed to just winning a belt and holding on to the belt? He's proven he's the best 45er potentially of all time. Is there a little bit of a worry for Volk, especially when you see how active he's been? You see how active Izzy was. He lost and Izzy's taken a hiatus. Is there a little trend going that if you're a company man and you're willing to step in and fight all these fights, is actually good for you long term?
Well, I think this is where the company needs to help their fighters out. You know, if Volk is saying these things where that's why he took the fight because he just can't hack layoffs mentally, you know, that's where the company have got to try and help him and give him the help he needs. And, you know, if he needs to talk to people or therapists or whatever it is, the UFC should really be, you know, going, don't worry about all this. We'll pay for everything. We'll get you sorted. You don't have to take fights just because you feel like you have to because your mental health. That ain't right. You know, he can't come into a fight because he's not going to be right in his headspace for this fight. You know, it's short notice as it is, and he's fighting the best fighter in the world. You know, his headspace needs to be correct, and he's taking it because of his mental health. And Izzy, we can't say the same of Izzy, but he's just been a company man, fighter, and whoever. I think sometimes the company and Dana White might have to look at it and go, you know what? I know this guy. If I ring him up tomorrow, he's going to fight. But maybe I shouldn't ring him up.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the thing. Maybe, these fighters, a lot of these fighters have got so much pride as well. And you've got to take that away from them. Is he fighting as much as he does in the space of, 3 years? How many fights he had? It's mad. And maybe it could be like, is he a superstar? But why am I milking him so much? Just let the man. He should be twice a year. Is he a superstar where you want to see him twice a year? Yeah. You don't need to see him 3-4 times a year. Yeah. He deserves that now. And for me, that's the company. Companies should be looking after him. It's different to boxing where the promoters have certain fighters in their camp and stuff like that. This is a company they're under, and they should be looking after him. And if Volk has come out and said that, and that is true about his mental health, then I think UFC itself needs to just talk to him, get him the help he needs, and tell him, look, you don't have to rush at any fight, man. Your legacy's set. Don't worry about that. Yeah. You're a superstar to us and superstar to the fans. So you take your time, my friend. That's what the company should be doing.
Yeah. Do we have an onus as fans as well to maybe stop putting as much pressure on some of these fighters as well as maybe their team need to step in sometimes and be like, look, you fought this amount of times in this amount of period. Like, you don't need to. And you look at someone like, I'll use boxing for an example. Anthony Joshua, Canelo, Fury's maybe a bit of a bad example, but Fury, Wilder, it was mainly 2 times a year these guys would fight. It'd be 2 times a year, and that would be it. And with all due respect to boxing, I don't know if boxing's as I'll go on record and say I don't think boxing's as demanding on the body as MMA. So if they're fighting twice a year, but yet you've got Volk and Izzy trying to squeeze in 4 fights a year,
mad.
And it's not just 4 fights against like lower ranked opposition. Like, with all due respect, like Bobby Green could potentially do that when he's fighting like number 17, number 20, then number 15, and then number 10. You can do that because you're working your way through the ranks and you're fighting slightly lower position. Volk is fighting number 1 contenders and now pound for pound, like top 3 fighters. That's crazy to be doing that. And same with Izzy as well.
Yeah.
Izzy went back to back with Pereira, then straight in with Sean Strickland. And you look at someone like Duplessis, who got heavily criticized for not taking the Izzy fight. But if you're taking that fight and wasn't 100%, we would have then criticized him in the way that we criticized TJ Dillashaw, who did take the fight at not 100% and came up short. So do we as a fan base need to kind of step back and kind of analyze things a bit better as well, in your opinion?
Yeah, look, because we're the paying public, we want to see the best every month. We moan when there's a poor UFC card. When there's a poor card, we're all like, oh, what a crap card this month, And that's because we've been spoiled. That's because we've been spoiled. We have been spoiled as UFC fans. Let's face it. We've been spoiled. So when we get what we perceive as a bad card, we moan about it. We get on social media. UFC sees that. They're not stupid. They see that and go, can't have 2 bad cards in a row. We have to, push now and push and push and push. And I've been saying this for a while. I think I said it to you on the show once before. I think there's too many shows in the UFC throughout the year. I think you should have 12 pay-per-views a year because they're monthly shows. But these weekly shows they have every week, it's just too. These fight nights, it's just too much.
It's crazy.
And you're pushing. And as you say, younger fighters, when they're coming through, they should probably fight 4 times a year because they're coming through and they're having very sort of mild level opponents.
Yeah.
And the whole point is you're trying to promote them to be the next big thing. But when you get to that level, Vizzy and Volk's level, and they're fighting killers.
Yeah.
Every single fight is a killer.
Yeah.
You can't do that to them, man. You can't go to Izzy, right? You're fighting Pereira back to back, and then you're fighting Strickland, and then you're fighting, and all that's in 1 calendar year. That's balmy.
It's crazy.
That's not for, and they're fighters.
Yeah.
These are the proudest men on earth. They're not going to say no. Do you know what I mean? So what UFC need to do is pay them better to keep them time off.
Do you know what? Shout out, because I think Theo says it here as well. Boxing money is different though.
So they can take their time.
Yeah. Here's the thing,
I
though.
reckon
No. Again, maybe I'm just a bit silly here, so apologies if my knowledge isn't where it should be. But the disparity between how much boxers are getting and MMA fighters are getting, it still makes my mind spin, because when you've got your top MMA fighters, whether it be Conor McGregor, Francis Ngannou, George Masvidal when he was at the top, Kamaru Usman when he was champion, they've all called out boxers. Sean O'Malley won his title against Aljamain Sterling, and the first person he called out was Tank Davis. Like, there's a massive problem there. If your top MMA fighters are calling out boxers, like, what the hell's going on? And again, I'm not sitting there saying everyone should be making Conor McGregor money, but they should be getting more than what they're getting, surely.
Yeah, but they won't pay them what they're worth, so they have to come back and fight quicker than they need to. You know, I was listening to one of the UFC fighters. He won a top guy. He was a good fighter. I can't remember his name now, but he was talking about his purse and how much he owned. And then as soon as he said he paid the gym, he paid his coach, he paid everyone that needed paying in his staff, he didn't have a lot left. So he had to go and take another fight, like 4 months after. So he had to go and take another fight. Where boxers, like AJ, if he fought Wilder tomorrow, he's getting probably close to 50 million for that fight. It doesn't have to fight again for 6-7 months.
Doesn't have to fight again for 6-7 years.
Yeah, exactly. But for their fighters, they want to fight. But you can take that time off. You can chill. You can cover. And this is the thing: these guys are not recovering their body long enough.
Yeah,
they're young. They're not old guys. Volk might be seen old in a sporting term, but he's 35. He's younger than me.
Yeah,
you know, and his body needs to recuperate and rest. And the older you get, especially, the harder it is to recuperate and rest and get your energy levels back.
Yeah.
So these guys need to be looked after better, in my opinion. I know Dana White's got this thing with money. He's all right going blackjack and spunking 9 million of his own cash.
Yeah.
But he won't give his fighters. I mean, how much did Vulcan that make in the main event? How much did how much did he award Volk for taking a fight on 10 days' notice against pound for pound the best fighter in the world?
I'll guess Volk.
It should be 10 mil.
Yeah, I guess Volk got maybe 1.5 tops.
And by the time he's paid all his staff and everyone, what's he got left? Around
and tax.
And tax in America, everything's tax. So he's got, what, 700 grand left? That might sound like a lot of money, but they live in a different world to you and me. So their expenses will be higher for things they live on.
Yeah. Well, food for a start. Their food's going to be like triple the cost of ours because they have to get the right food. Their hospital bills, their physios, and all the other sports science is crazy.
It's madness. So, yeah, he should be getting 10 mil for that fight. Islam should be getting 20 mil for being the winner. You know, that's what they should be getting paid because, you know, these guys, they're going to a fight not knowing if they're going to be about tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's that dangerous of a sport, like boxing is. They should be paid better and then they'll rest better.
Completely agree. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Please do smash the like button. Also, before we go any further, in the description of this video, you'll find the links to Luke's channel and Jamie's channel. Please do go and subscribe and support them, guys, please. Let's speak about the winner from Saturday night, from the main event, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, and I've been quite open with this, I believe has almost had layups in the lead up to him getting title shots because he's been associated with Khabib. However, he still had to deliver once he's been in the positions to have to deliver. He delivered against Charles Oliveira. He's delivered twice against Volk now. He at first, before the fight happened, was starting to speak about welterweight. However, he was quite open in saying after the immediate post-fight saying the UFC can pick my fight, and then after that was basically saying, look, it's going to be Charles next and then Gaethje. However, Gaethje chimed in and said it should be him next. In terms of Islam, though, his legacy, what does he have to do? Because I still think he is to an extent. What does he have to do to come out of Khabib's shadow?
I don't know.
Can he?
I don't know if he can because Habib's just got that aura about him. But for me, he's a far better fighter than Habib.
I think he's more more well-rounded.
He's better on his feet. You know, he's better on his feet. Sometimes, you know, it's very difficult to get out of a shadow of someone who's got that aura. For me, the best way of doing it is splitting with him.
Oh,
maybe that's the best way because the longer you're with him, they're gotta be together, ain't they? It's gotta be Islam, could be. You know, you never go jump. Anyone seen Rocky 5? You know, Tommy Morrison had to leave Rocky, man, to make a name for himself. It didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know if it could be that. Everyone's always got, if you see Islam fight, Habib's always going to be mentioned alongside him, ain't he?
Yeah.
And how long does that work? Does that go on? I don't know if that ever leaves. And then when does he get peed off of it eventually? Does he go, oh, right, I'm my own man. Yeah. Call Habib out. I don't know. You know,
yeah, they'll never fight though.
Do something like weird. I don't know. I just don't know if he can ever. No, I was just looking at his resume.
So, I mean, best. So Charles Oliveira was first. In fact, I'll go. Drew Dober was his first proper test. No, in fact, I won't. I'm gonna look at like top level elite fighters. Charles was the first one. I thought he lost the first fight to Volk, but he was awarded a decision, so he still counts as a win. And second time to Volk. So he's got 2 fights over 2 pound for pound top 10 fighters. One who was deemed as number 1 before he beat him, and one who was, I think, number 3 before he beat him. I still think, and here's a different sort with Khabib, because Khabib, again, in my opinion, didn't have a crazy run to the belt. He his hardest fight, in my opinion, before on paper was Rafael dos Anjos. If people remember when he actually won the belt, he fought Al Iaquinta, and Al Iaquinta wasn't even top 10 at the time. No. So he beat Conor, then he beat Poirier, and then he beat Gaethje. Obviously in emphatic ways. However, I don't think Khabib's resume is where it should be for the glory he gets, even though he was a phenomenal fighter. I personally think Oliveira's got a better resume than Khabib. Yeah. Personally.
He's got the best resume in the company apart from John Jones, probably.
Yeah, but I don't think Charles Oliveira's legacy surpasses Khabib unless Charles beats Islam. If he beats Islam, then I think we're talking about him in the same realm as Khabib. But the first thing people who defend Khabib will say was Khabib never lost. But then the first thing I would say is name me the 20 fighters he fought before he came into the UFC. And name me 5 of them he fought in the UFC.
Did Khabib have... Look, let's put it this way. Has Khabib got a resume to John Jones?
No, absolutely not.
And John Jones is the greatest ever to do it.
I don't think he's got a resume that really stands up to Volk, potentially.
No, and look, Islam, I'm just looking at it, and he's fought Volk back-to-back, so you got to give him his dues there. He's fought the best. Oliveira got cancelled. He fought Oliveira before, and then before Volk, it was Bobby Green. And then before that,
that was on 2 weeks' notice as well.
Yeah, it was Dan Hooker, Thiago and Drew Dober before that. So
he's got a good resume, but it's not great.
Yeah, I'd love to see him and Charles Oliveira again, because I don't think Charles Oliveira makes the same mistake he did in the first fight.
Well, shout out to Luke. He says he needs a couple more lightweight defenses and to win the welterweight belt as well. That's a good point. We'll get onto that. Out of Oliveira and Gaethje, Oliveira was meant to have had this fight. Obviously, won the number 1 contender spot after beating Dariush, but unfortunately was unable to make the walk. Then Gaethje won the BMF against Poirier and was deemed to be the person that Islam would fight or Charles would fight after they had their fight. Who do you think gets the next title shot out of the 2?
I think Dana even said it's Gaethje next. So
interesting.
Gaethje is an interesting fight because Gaethje, he's an excellent wrestler. But people just won't know it because he doesn't use it. But he uses it. What he says, he uses it in his stand-up.
Yeah, to
his stand-up, to benefit his stand-up.
Oh,
So
Luke's saying Dana confirmed Charles is next.
Oh, is he? So that means I'm right. If Charles is next, that means it could be Gaethje Conor at 300.
I mean, Dana's
why wouldn't Gaethje be next? Gaethje keeps winning. He should be next.
Yeah, I mean, since he lost to Oliveira, he beat Fiziev and Poirier. Oliveira's only fought once. It is a tough one between the two because both have got really credible arguments. I still wouldn't be surprised if Dana leaned towards Gaethje. And the reason I say that is because Ali Abdelaziz has a big pull when it comes to matchmaking, but also there's a part of me that feels as though Dana's a little bit peed off with Oliveira and how the news came out about his injury. And we know if Dana's annoyed with you, you're not going to get what you necessarily want. So even though Dana said it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Gaethje.
If we're looking at it, Islam beat Charles Oliveira without sweating.
Oh, he beat him easy.
So why do you do that rematch for the title when Gaethje's on this winning streak and looking like a killer? If I'm Gaethje, I'm sitting there, I should have the next. It should be me. Why do I keep getting passed up? Because Gaethje always seems like he's getting passed up. I don't know if he's fashionable or he's a pay-per-view draw.
Oh, he definitely is.
Put him in there with Islam. It's a better fight for me.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Who do you think's got a better? And this is for everyone in the chat as well. Who's got a better chance of beating Islam, Gaethje or Oliveira?
Gaethje if he stand up. I just feel like Gaethje if he's wrestling with the way he controls the stand up. If he catches Islam and gets him on the ground with that ground and pound, Oliveira, I don't know. I think it's difficult for him because I think he'll just get ragdolled. It's interesting. And to be fair, that's it for Islam. It's them two. You know, it's just if he beats them two again, then there's nothing really left for him in that weight. He has to move up.
Yeah, no one's really coming through in that division. Like you could see like a Shavkat welterweight who's coming through.
Gaethje's leg kicks are dangerous as well.
The problem that Gaethje might have though is because he's southpaw, he might not be able to get the leg kicks off as well as he could against an orthodox fighter. I'm 50-50 on who gives him the harder fight because obviously we saw him fight against Charles and Charles didn't do very well. But I don't think that was the best version of Charles.
I bet you made a mistake.
Yeah. And I think Charles was going in to be too aggressive. I don't think he'll be like that. I think he'll be more measured like he was against Dariush. However, Gaethje has that just knockout, that instant KO power, that thudding power to make you just reconsider your whole life in a split second. So I'd be interested to see how both those fights go.
Neither fight's wrong. Like,
oh yeah. Oh no.
What Dana wants to do, I suppose. Like, and for us fans, it's win-win in a way. But if you're thinking what the fighter deserves, it should be Gaethje next.
So let me ask you. You mentioned a certain Conor McGregor there, Jay. Let's say Gaethje does get the fight. Has Charles Oliveira got a chance of fighting McGregor, or do you think it's just Gaethje because
McGregor ain't fighting Oliveira?
You don't think so?
No, McGregor wants stand-up wars, man. He wants stand-up wars. I don't think he wants wrestlers or submission experts or anything like that. Or just ground and pound him. I think he would. Like, if you look at the two wrestlers, like Chandler's a wrestler and Gaethje's a wrestler, but they like having stand-up wars. They just love it. They want fight of the nights. So they will stand up with McGregor. Where, Oliveira try and pull guard, get McGregor down, and I don't think McGregor wants that kind of fight, and I don't think Dana wants McGregor in that kind of fight.
That's fair. That's fair as well. I'd like to think Chandler does get that fight. I really would. I'd actually be gutted for Chandler if he doesn't.
Chandler should get it. They coached a bloody show together.
It'd actually be a travesty, wouldn't it?
Dana's saying that, like Luke just said, Dana's saying that Chandler's next. Well, then who does Gaethje fight? Because if I'm Gaethje and he goes, right, if Charles Oliveira's next to fight Islam, then I want McGregor. Because why am I stepping back? Who you gotta give me that's a suitable opponent? I'm not getting a title fight to give me the money fight.
Do you reckon he just sits out? Because let's say the problem with Islam though is, again, I think Islam fights again maybe between February and the end of March, and then won't fight again maybe until October again. So that means Gaethje's going to be sitting out for well over a calendar year, which means he's a year older.
You can't.
And I think Gaethje's at his best when he's fighting twice a year minimum.
Yeah, you can't wait that long.
I don't know what happened.
300 is in April, ain't it?
Yeah.
That title fight will probably be what, February?
I reckon if we're October now, February or March, I reckon.
We're just about hit November, ain't we? We're just about hit November. So
yeah,
let's say November, we're in sort of like, and then you got Christmas period. That's already pushed up. All the cards are already done till New Year now, ain't they? They're all set.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at January, February time. So if it's not Gaethje in January, February for that title, and you're 300 in April, then Gaethje's got to be looking to be on that 300 card, ain't he?
He is.
That's the money fight. Why would he take anyone else that ain't a champion there? Don't make sense for him.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, he could fight Dariush, but again, it doesn't really make sense.
It's a dangerous fight as well. When you don't really need it.
Like, from a fan's point of view, I'd love to see him fight Dariush.
Yeah,
I think Dariush is one of the most slept-on fighters in the whole of UFC.
He's a dangerous guy, and that's why it don't make no sense for Gaethje to take that fight.
Yeah, I hear it.
He should be next in line, but if you're not next in line and you're looking ahead, you want the biggest fight possible, don't you? And the biggest fight possible is a returning Conor McGregor, isn't it?
Could he maybe entice Masvidal, come out of retirement, fight for the BMF belt?
Yeah, and that's the other one. Yeah, that's the other one. If you get Masvidal or Diaz or something like that, that's money fights, ain't it? That's a big fight. That's head of the card, main event. That's what he's looking at. That's why I'm confused. Like when Luke said Charles is next, Dana said, then they must have something planned for Gaethje.
They've got to, yeah.
Unless he's got an injury that we don't know about. That could
potentially, yeah. Shouts to Copites TV who said that UFC will be going to Saudi Arabia. So again, that could be another place where, and I think that's in March.
In Saudi in March, ain't it?
Yeah, that could be where that's Islam.
Yeah,
that's where Islam
fighting, isn't it?
Yeah. So I reckon it'll be March next fights. Speaking of another fighter who picked up the W, Khamzat Chimaev. So Khamzat was meant to fight Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa got staph infection, had to have an operation on his elbow. Very nasty.
But fit to fight the fans.
Yeah. and yeah, he is as per usual. And then you've got Jared Cannonier, who was offered the fight and rejected it because he has got an MCL tear, I believe, in his knee, and he's out for 5 months. So he got Usman. Duplessis also injured at the moment. He got Usman. Who else is someone else? I don't know why Rob wasn't offered the fight, Robert Whittaker, but Rob didn't take the fight or wasn't offered the fight, one of the two. Either way, Khamzat won. However, Khamzat apparently has a broken wrist. Khamzat's the number one contender. I don't think he should be, but he is.
Mm-hmm.
If Khamzat is out, if Duplessis is out, if Cannonier's out, Rob can't fight for the belt because he just lost, and Izzy's taken a hiatus.
Usman title shot.
Jay, should it be Kamaru Usman? Is that a way of rewarding him by saying, look, you've helped save a card here. The other 5 opponents, in theory, who are meant to fight Strickland can't. There you go. There's your title shot.
Yeah, it's mad with Khamzat because if he has got a broken wrist, you're looking 12 weeks probably
minimum,
and then you've got to find a place for him in the next fight. So yeah, this is interesting. I personally think
Sorry to cut you. I agree with you, Copites. You can't really reward someone for losing, but they did it with Frankie Edgar. It
depends. Look, who else is money in that world in the middleweight? Usman's money, ain't he?
Yeah.
And look, let's face it. That went another round. Usman's winning.
Yeah.
Khamzat's got a stamina issue. He's got a stamina. He needs to fix his nose. He's got a stamina issue, and he doesn't fight enough. He's had 12 fights in his professional career. he does not fight enough.
Yeah.
And
He was fighting loads when he first came in, and then he's completely gone the other way.
He's a one-round man. If you can get him past 3 rounds and into that 5-round territory, that's why I wish that co-main was 5 rounds, because there's a number 1 contenders fight.
Yeah.
Usman's winning a decision. In fact, I think he probably stops him before
I
the
think
end
he
of the
stops
fight,
him.
because Usman was starting to control that fight. And then the takedowns from Hamzat had no sauce on it, were they? They were just like taking him down to catch a breath. He weren't doing no damage.
This is a good question from Ewok. Says, Hamzat injury, did that make Usman look better in the other 2 rounds? Respect to Usman, though. Potentially.
Maybe.
I mean, if you've got a broken wrist, throwing a punch or blocking a punch is going to bloody hurt.
Maybe. But then I've seen fighters, I don't know. If it was broken, he should have told his corner. It's what, is it been confirmed?
It hasn't been confirmed by Hamzat, but I don't know if he will confirm it. He's that type of character that he's not going to confirm.
I don't know. I think I actually think it weren't the wrist that was Hamzat's problem in that fight, it's his stamina.
I agree. We saw it in the Gilbert Burns fight as well.
Yeah, he's a ginormous man. He's probably even too big for 185, to be fair.
Yeah.
He's far bigger than Usman. I know Usman's muscular and looks more impressive, but the size difference is amazing.
Way bigger.
I don't know. I don't know if that was you. I think it was a stamina issue, because Usman looked fresher. Hamzat was blowing, and Usman looked quite chilled. So I think it's a stat. I will say one thing: it was quite sad, the interview with Megan Levy after. Did you hear it?
No.
It was quite sad, man. Usman was almost crying, man.
Oh, was he?
He doesn't. He's like he don't know what's gone wrong. He's had 3 losses in a row now, because he's a guy used to winning constantly, ain't he? And he says he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know his next step. You know, it's hard to take when you're a premium fighter and you're just killing people.
Yeah.
And then you lose 3 in a row to top people. To no slackers. Top of the top. Yeah. It's difficult for him.
Yeah, I still maintain that Usman won that fight, though. I still don't think it was a 10-8, but we can debate that till cows come home. Shout out to Luke again, who said Strickland even said that Hamzat doesn't deserve a shot for the belt. Dracus du Plessis, bro. Obviously, Dana White is peed off with Dracus because he did.
Oh, I think Cal will tell us in a minute while he'll be back. You're right. Usman beat Strickland with ease. I agree.
Sorry about that, Joe.
Paul Strickland would say,
So as I was saying, Dana's obviously annoyed with Dracus du Plessis. However, if rumors are to be true, he's over his injury problems and he's able to start a camp now if he were to be offered the fight. If Hamzat's not going to be available, surely du Plessis gets the next title. I mean, he is actually the number 1 contender. He beat the guy who was the gatekeeper for that division. And when we say gatekeeper, we're not talking about gatekeepers getting to the top 10. We're talking about gatekeeper to get to the belt.
Yeah,
no one else is
the guy in the division.
Yeah, exactly. Only if you beat Whitaker, and you become the champion effectively.
Yeah, I agree.
He never got that title shot for one reason or another. Do you think he should be getting that title shot next? Do you think he will, though?
He deserves it, but Hamzat is money. That's the difference. Yeah. People will tune in more to a Hamzat fight because the intrigue.
But is this where the UFC's got to step back and take?
They should worry about money.
They have, it should. Yeah, they should be doing it for the integrity. Now, don't get me wrong. Hamzat is in my. Do you know what we say this? Dracus du Plessis is not a boring fighter, in my opinion. No. He may be a boring character outside the octagon, and he might be a bit controversial with some of the things he said and stuff. But in the cage, every fight I've watched, the fight with Brunson, entertaining. The fight with Till, entertaining. The fight with Whitaker, entertaining.
Yeah, and no one saw it coming either.
No one saw it. He may not be liked, hence why people aren't really saying much about him in a good way. I'm not a big du Plessis fan after what he said, etc. But also, Izzy didn't handle himself right in that situation either, and said some stuff that I kind of frown upon as well. But surely the UFC's got an obligation to give the right fighters the right fights. And Du Plessis, in my opinion, should be the next in line. I get cop-outs, I get UK, I get like you guys don't think it'll be a good fight. It probably won't be a great fight, but it should still be a fight that happens because one's the champion and one's the rightful number one contender because they beat the number one contender.
It should be the fight. I think Hamzat's got a broken wrist. This will be the fight.
It has to be. It has to be.
I know everyone's saying it might be a boring fight.
I don't think it will.
I actually think it'd be a super exciting fight because they just go fight each other.
Yeah,
it's going to be who hits the hardest. They're just going to smash each other. They're going to stand there and exchange. That is what they're going to meet each other in the middle, and they are just going to exchange. It actually be an exciting fight. It's just what it is. It's not marketable, is it? That's the problem. And you've got but then that's up to UFC and their production team to make this look like the biggest fight of the year. That's up to the company. If they're just lazy about it and go, right, like Dana White that time when he couldn't remember the fighter's name.
That's terrible.
Shit. And that's terrible. And he's a promoter. Yeah. You know, that it's up to them to make this look like an amazing event. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, you know, I'm going to sit and watch this, you know, it's going to be a war. But if they don't, my problem is if they book this fight, they're just going to just put it on a card with a crap undercard.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to forget about it, where it should be just, that's my worry. And that's the company. That's the company doing that. But I think Du Plessis needs Izzy. You know, that's where their rivalry, you know, and it's a real rivalry. It's not made up. This Africa thing is just, you know, I don't like the racial tones of the rivalry.
Yeah, me
or anything like that.
Yeah.
But their hatred for each other.
Yeah, it's what sells.
It's what sells, and people will watch that.
Yeah.
And an overconfident Izzy sometimes can get caught as well in fights.
Yeah.
Especially an angry Izzy, and that makes that exciting. Strickland is the most, you know, boring, you know, he's not, you know, he's got weird takes on life. But
very.
You know, I just don't know how you promote this fight, but that's up to the UFC. But I just see the UFC putting this on a card with a terrible undercard. That is the main event, and we all forget about it.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
And that's the thing. With all due respect to Volk, he headlined International Fight Week.
Volk versus I wasn't saying Izzy was racist. I said the racial undertones that they were shouting at each other.
I mean, Izzy did say some pretty outlandish things. I'm not gonna lie, he did. But I also think Dricus started off this thing in the completely wrong way, and I think he could have worded it. He could have worded it so different. It's reminiscent, and this is how different. If you word things differently, how differently things can be taken. Leon Edwards came from the same standpoint as Dricus Du Plessis when it came to him winning a belt and Michael Bisping winning a belt. However, the way he worded it and the sentiment behind it made it very clear that he still had plenty of respect to Bisping, still identified him as the first Brit to win a belt, but also said, well, I'm the first Brit who's won it by living in Britain, training in Britain, and then traveling. No one had a problem with it. If Dricus had just worded it like that, we wouldn't have a problem.
No.
But the way he worded it, and it's not just Izzy's kind of disrespecting it, he's disrespecting Usman, he's disrespecting Ngannou. Like, these are guys who kind of paved the way for UFC and MMA in Africa. Dricus should have done better there, man. He should have done better. Let me just hit up this super chat. Shout out to the one, the only John Conway. Big up yourself, John. Big up as always. But yeah, I think it should be Dricus Du Plessis. But going back to what you said, Jay, in terms of the rivalry, imagine Dricus Du Plessis wins the belt, and then Izzy comes back from his hiatus.
Calls him out, man.
He could effectively get the first shot.
Yeah, calls him out. He wins the belt.
Calls him out.
I think he probably would beat Strickland, and then he's got to call Izzy out straight away. The problem is they'll call him out, and it won't be a nice call. We know what's going to happen, you know, and he's going to call him out, and he's going to get the world talking. And Izzy is going to come back for that, but Izzy wants him bad. And then you make that fight, and then eventually you get Izzy holding that middleweight title again, and you get Izzy Hamzat.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fight I think Dana and the UFC won.
Yeah.
Speaking of a fight that speaking of a fight Dana didn't want, this weekend, the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing is being competed for by a boxer and by an ex-UFC champion. Tyson Fury is going up against Francis Ngannou. The Gypsy King versus Le Predator. And this fight shouldn't really be happening, but we also know it's a money grab for both men. If anyone can walk out of this fight with their head held high, unless they get smoked in the first round, it's Ngannou. Anything less than a stoppage win for Tyson Fury, I think, does the world of boxing a massive, massive disservice and damage, and also damages Tyson Fury's career as well. Fury has to, and I mean has to, get a finish in this fight. But because of that, does that make the fight more dangerous for him? Because Ngannou has the ultimate equalizer and has that knockout power.
We are going to witness the most boring heavyweight fight of all time on Saturday. Fury is just going to sit behind a jab for 8 rounds or 10 rounds, how long ever this contact. I think it's a 10-round fight, isn't it? He's just going to sit behind a jab for 10 rounds. He's not going to go straight in there and do Ngannou in the first 3 rounds, because he's going to have to feel him out. He's never fought with him before. Yeah. So he's going to have to feel him out. He's got no boxing pedigree. He's got nothing to go back and watch boxing wise. So he's going to have to feel him out. Same way McGregor and Mayweather happened. Mayweather just got Conor McGregor out for a few rounds to realise what he's got and what he ain't got, and destroyed him. It's going to be the same here. It's not going to be the most exciting fight. But the difference between this fight and the McGregor-Mayweather fight is that they're heavyweights and they have one-touch killing power.
Yeah.
And especially Ngannou. But will Ngannou's power happen in boxing? McGregor's power weren't there in boxing. You know, we saw it when he hit Mayweather clean with an uppercut, real clean, and he had nothing in it. It's a different. His stance is going to have to be different for a start, and everything changes from that. I'm not sure, and the gloves, they're going to take a lot of his power away as well. It's. But if he catches, if Tyson gets too cocky and gets too close, and Ngannou just throws a right hook and it lands, Tyson's ass is eating the floor. It just is, and that's why I think it'd be a very one-sided fight, Cal, to be fair. Oh, I think Cal has frozen. All right, Cal's frozen. He'll be right back. Fury can still resurrect from the dead. Yeah, do you remember the Wilder fight when he just sat up like the Undertaker? Why do people think Ngannou hits harder than Wilder? I think Ngannou's got the Guinness Book. I think he's in the Guinness Book of World Records, my friend, for the hardest punch in history.
Apologies, Joe. Isn't
that right? I think Ngannou's in the world record for the hardest ever punch.
Yeah, so they said it's the equivalent of being hit by a Ford Escort going at 70 miles per hour. Well, ask over him.
Ask Cain Velasquez how he felt.
Yeah, ask Cain Velasquez. Ask Junior.
He hit Cain Velasquez with an uppercut. He hit him with a 2-inch uppercut in the grip.
And he made him blow his knee out.
While they were grappling, a 2-inch uppercut. And I've not seen Cain since. Well, he's
ask Rosenstruck.
Yeah, the man hits, and if he hits Tyson, and they're roughly the same size. Yeah. If he hits Tyson, and there's one thing in this as well. Tyson Fury's idol is Mike Tyson. That's who his name's after. It's his dad and his idol. They love him. He's going to be in the corner of Ngannou. He's been coaching Ngannou, and apparently all they've been coaching is body shots.
Yeah,
because Mike Tyson believes that is the way of beating Tyson Fury, is with body shots that no other boxer has really tried. He believes it's body shots.
No one's been able to get in close on Fury to try it though.
and that's what they've been. That's going to be. It's interesting because who the two fighters are.
Yeah.
But it could just be a boring Fury, just jab, jab, jab.
I wonder how much, because I think one thing that happens with boxers and MMA fighters is you'll find that boxers like Fury leans on his opponents, especially if they're smaller than him. He leans on his opponents. I personally think Ngannou is the stronger man out of the two. He may not be the heavier man. He might even be the heavier man, but I think he's the stronger man out of the two. But Fury knows how to use his weight maybe in a boxing sense to drain his opponent's gas tank. I think if Francis is able to do that, if he's able to negate that, I think that'll go a long way to helping him, because if he just kind of holds his ground and let Fury dance around him, like Ngannou can't be doing the whole dancing with Fury business. You've just got to go and seek and hunt and try and destroy.
Yeah, he's got to throw.
Like you got, and literally how Tyson used to fight, almost a peekaboo style. You try and get in close, get in underneath your opponent. Once you're underneath Tyson Fury, there's not much he can do. And you can let punches go, whether it be to the body, uppercuts. So, look, I'm not sitting here saying go and bet on Ngannou. I'm not sitting here saying Ngannou's going to win. One thing I will say, though, if he wins, it's the biggest shake-up of combat sport in the history of combat sport, in my opinion.
Oh, if he wins, you never see Fury again.
But for me, it would just be the biggest win in combat sport history. Like we've seen like Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson. We saw John Ruiz beat we saw Andrew Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua. We saw Tyson Fury beat Klitschko. Like we've seen Hasim Ratman beat Lennox Lewis. We've seen upsets in the octagon. We've seen plenty of, but crossover wise, we've never seen it.
No,
not to this level. If Fury loses this and Ngannou pulls this off, especially with what Ngannou went through to get out of his contract, the ridicule he got before he got this fight, and everything around it. If Ngannou does it, it's the biggest win in combat sport history, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and it's look with Ngannou, like, none of us know what he's going to be like because he's never boxed. He's always wanted to be a boxer. I believe before he turned MMA, he trained in boxing. Yeah. And they said to him, "Why don't you be an MMA fighter?" And that's what happened. And he became an MMA fighter. But I don't think he ever really wanted to be an MMA fighter. He's always wanted to be a boxer. So he's living his dream now. But none of us know what he's like at boxing. This is the hidden. We got nothing. Look, we know he's powerful and he hits, but we don't know what he's like as a boxer. What his training has been like with Mike Tyson. Yeah. If Ngannou wins, does Fury get the rematch?
I think he does. I think it's written.
There is a rematch clause in there, which tells you something. Look,
but if Francis wins and gets the rematch, then he can demand so much more, make even more money the second time.
But I think this is not even a title fight; it's just an expedition, right? It's not even.
So I don't know if it is or not. I don't know.
No, I think they said on TalkSport today.
Is it definitely not? Okay, cool.
But there's a rematch in there. If there's a rematch, if Ngannou won this, then it's a title fight and it's fighting.
Yeah.
But so Fury winds me up because I've said it a while now. The only reason Fury will be fighting Usyk as well is because it's in Saudi Arabia and he's getting paid.
Yeah.
If he weren't fighting Usyk in Saudi Arabia, he wouldn't fight Usyk. That's just a fact. And he's getting paid in this. I think he's getting 50 million for this fight. It's opening Riyadh season. It's going to be a spectacle. But it's the heavyweights, man. And Ngannou is 270 pounds of muscle. If he hits you, I don't care who you are in the world.
Yeah, you're done.
And if Fury hasn't got Ngannou power, let's just put it right now.
Yeah.
Fury knocks people out by outworking them, stamina-wise. So they're absolutely exhausted and they can't take no more. And that's when he finishes opponents. He hasn't got that one-hit knockout power. He never has done.
Yeah.
But Ngannou has. And that's what Ngannou's got to do. If I was Ngannou, if I was Mike Tyson, I'm coaching him, I'm telling Ngannou, meet him in the middle, push him into the corner, and then just start smacking. Just start throwing because no one expects you to win. Don't try and box the best boxer in the heavyweight division. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts. I agree. I'm looking forward to it though. Matt's hairline says, "Big up, boys. Did you hear CM Punk versus Rod Tang in one?" That can't be true.
I heard something about CM Punk maybe doing commentary in one, but I didn't know that he was fighting.
I don't know if you've ever watched Rod Tang fight, Jay. See that I pray to God CM Punk is not taking that fight.
CM Punk should never fight.
Yeah, Rod Tang will literally kill him. Don't do that, CM Punk.
He fought 2 UFC bums and got
and got smoked. Rod Tang would literally destroy him. When I watched Rod Tang versus Mighty Mouse was on his bike. We're talking about one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, and he had him on his bike.
Still can't believe they exchanged Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. Do you know what? We say that though. Without Ben Askren coming to the UFC, I don't know if we are in a situation where the welterweights became one of the most talked about. We don't get Masvidal, we don't get Kamaru being as big as he became.
Yeah,
he brought the fire being as big as he is.
He brought the fire, but no action.
Yeah, literally. That was it. But Ben Askren, for me, without that signing, I don't think the welterweight division would have been what it became. No. That was the marquee division at one point. Masvidal and Usman really took that weight to a different level, man. And you got to kind of give Askren some credit for that.
Welterweight and middleweight have always sort of been UFC's main.
And light heavy, to be fair.
Yeah, they're sort of always heavyweight. I always feel like UFC have always had a heavyweight problem.
Yeah, well, let's be real, bro. How many men out there are 6'4", 6'5", and 260 pounds?
Because they have a limit on heavyweight. You can't be heavier than 265 for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But the problem with UFC, you have a 210-pound fighter fighting a 260 man.
Yeah, it's scary.
No other weight class has that weight depth, difference. I've always said they should have a cruiserweight level in UFC or something like that for people that are just too big for 205 but too small for heavy.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think there should be 3 more divisions potentially in the UFC. I think there should be a 65-pound division, and I think you make 75 pounds. I think there should be a 95-pound division, and then I think I'd say a 225, Jay. So you can go from 206 to 225.
Yeah.
And then after 225, heavyweight. But for me, I think they do 265 at heavyweight because of safety for the fights. Because I remember Tim Sylvia got up to like 300 pounds or something.
Yeah, but he was just unfit at 300.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like Brock Lesnar and Ngannou cut weight?
That's
265.
And there's not much weight to cut. No, there's not much weight to cut.
They walk around at 300 pounds. Let them be 300 pounds, man.
It's scary. Ngannou said after his knee injury, he said, he got up to about 300 pounds. But you look at him and there's barely any fat on him.
300 pounds at 4% body fat.
That's mad.
I'm the other way around.
Yeah, I would be if I got that big as well.
It's just mad. I'm 260, so I'm not. But I'm only 5'9", so yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, so you'd be fighting in heavyweight.
Yeah, and I'll get destroyed.
That'd be scary. But saying that, DC was only an inch taller than you. DC was 5'10".
Yeah, but he's an athlete.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not saying to jump in there. Yeah,
I've already called out a spuller. I'm just waiting for you to reply. I've already called him.
There's just not a lot. There's not, like, in the world in general, like, how often do you come across someone who is a heavyweight, like a natural heavyweight?
Yeah, it's hard, especially in MMA. In heavyweight, it's a bit, but
because you think of those big guys, they're going to basketball, they're going to NFL, they could go into rugby,
even going pro wrestling. To be fair,
pro wrestling,
so it's very difficult for them to find the right heavyweights. That's why it's never been, their biggest heavyweight stars have probably been Randy Couture and Brock, probably. And then Ngannou was about to be it, but then left. So, they're probably been UFC history, 30 years. Is it probably Couture and Brock?
Yeah.
Heavyweight legends?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else. It is, yeah. I mean, John Jones could be, but I think John Jones maybe
he ain't going to do enough, is he, at heavyweight?
Yes.
He's like heavyweight legend.
One more fight, two more fight. Derek Lewis is a big star, but never won that belt.
No. Yeah, he had that boring fight, didn't he, with
Francis.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'd love to see that rerun though.
Yeah. I just never going to see Ngannou back in the UFC. If Ngannou wins, you're never seeing him back.
No.
But he's got that IPL contract now, hasn't he? So he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We've been robbed of John Jones versus Ngannou, man. We really have. It's a real shame. It is a real shame. Hey, what can we do? People, we're going to wrap up there. Not sure whether there's going to be a watch long for Fury and Ngannou yet. So stay tuned to socials and notifications as well. Jay, where can the people find you and support you, please, bro?
Right there, guys. Jamie Phillips Football Chat. So I've got a live video every day this week leading up to match days.
Perfect. Shout out to Luke, who couldn't be with us this evening, but will be back with us in the next show. Make sure you click the link in the description. That will take you to Jamie's channel, also to Luke's channel. Please do subscribe over there, guys. Copites, you want to ask a quick question? I'll wait until you type it.
Go on, Copite.
Yeah, come on, mate. Come on. Shout out to Talkative as well. Yep, I know I need to go to the barbers. I need a shave. I'm looking a bit rough at the moment. I know. Do you think Man United get battered against City? Oh yeah, they do.
No, I think United are going to win.
No, I'd be happy if they did.
I think they're going to get a dodgy 3 points.
I'll be happy if
Weird
they do.
Time 3:30 kickoff as well, isn't it? It overlaps our game 2:00.
What on Sunday?
They're kicking off at 3:30 because of the police asked them to move the game. So they're kicking off at 3:30.
That's silly.
Yeah,
it's annoying. But yeah, I think City smoked Man United. Where is it? Is it Old Trafford or the Etihad?
I can't remember. I don't really care.
If it's the Etihad, they smoke Man United. The Etihad. If it's away, Man United stay relevant in the game until the second half, and then
United are shocking. They had that awful midfielder up front today, didn't they?
Heisland.
No. You know the Scottish midfielder. I can't remember his name. He's gone right.
Oh, McTominay.
He played false 9. I think he's playing.
Don't! You're lying.
Yeah. He played false 9 the other day as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the last game.
I love him to bits. They're brilliant.
So bad, man. And Maguire back in form apparently as well. Long may it last.
Shout out to John. United are at home. Shout out to Copites as well. They're at home. Yeah, United. City still win. City win, man. I'd love for Man United to win, but I don't think they will.
Go for a draw.
We'll see. My people, thank you so much for tuning to another episode of Combat Catch Up. If you haven't already, do smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, did a reaction compilation video of all of the other content creators reacting to Islam Makhachev knocking out Volkanovski. So please check that out. And as I keep on saying, make sure you go and check out Luke's channel and check out Jamie's channel. People, until we're back next time, thank you so much for tuning in. You take care and see you soon, everyone.